So today I'm going to do a review on SoFi Invest. So this is an investing app available on the SoFi app. If you don't already have it, I will have a link to them in the show notes down below. You can check them out, and it does help out support the channel, and it gets you right into the service. So what we're going to talk about is just this portion about the pros and the cons of using SoFi Invest. I've actually used them for a little while to get a good feel of how they work in comparison to a lot of other apps out there. So when we go over when it comes to the pros and the cons, and the biggest pro on this is the fact that it's entirely for free to be using this app. Now, there are a lot of different brokers out there as well, and some of them are free and some of them cost money. And this is one of the ones that is entirely free when it comes to buying and selling onto the stock market, which is really great and a really nice entry point for a lot of different investors. Now, one of the cons when it comes to utilizing SoFi Invest is the fact that they don't actually have an overall chart when it comes to your total portfolio. They do have this available for individual stocks when you go into them, but when it comes to seeing your overall portfolio, it's just numbers and no line graph. So that would be something nice if in the future they add a line graph to be able to see the overall portfolio. Now, as far as some of the pros, of course, when it comes to utilizing SoFi Invest is the fact that they have stocks and ETFs as well as crypto available for you to purchase. Now, the great thing about these things is that you can purchase them in fractional shares, which is a massive deal for me. Fractional shares allow you to buy into bigger companies at whatever dollar amount you have. So instead of having to spend $200 to buy something like Microsoft, you can spend $20 to be able to get a fractional share of Microsoft at that $20 instead of having to spend that full $200. It's one of my favorite features in any investing platform because it makes it easier for a lot of beginner investors. Now, when it comes to a con on using SoFi Invest is the fact that there's not a lot of data on here. Now, this is very similar to a lot of other investing apps, so it's always recommended that you get a lot more of your information at other websites such as Seeking Alpha or dividends.com or any other platform you can utilize to get data on your stocks or ETFs that you are looking into. Now, this is very important because if you are lacking the information on these stocks, it's hard to make critical decisions on what is going to work best for you in your investing portfolio. Now, when it comes to having a SoFi account, you can either have a taxable account or a traditional IRA account. So there are some limitations on the type of accounts you can have as of right now. So hopefully in the future, they open it up to different types of investing accounts as well. Now, one of the cons for myself personally when using this app is the fact that they do have a social aspect to it as well. You can see what other people are buying and selling, and you can actually post on a feed as well where it kind of shows you what you are buying and what you're selling. There is a turn off feature, but the rest of the fact that everybody else's stuff is still up there is kind of a downside for me sometimes because you don't want to be encouraged by other people's decisions when it comes to your investing style, because that is very critical in making sure that you don't get influenced based off of other people's decisions when they might not work for your investing strategy. Now, the cool thing with SoFi Invest is that they also have an instant deposit feature up to $5,000. And this really means is that you can say, hey, I am transferring $100 into my account. And instead of having to wait a couple of days for the transfer from your bank into SoFi Invest, it will be instantaneous and you will have that money available to start investing right away, which means you don't have to waste time in the market to be able to have that money working for you. So on top of the instant deposits, you can also do auto deposits as well into your account. So if you're somebody who kind of needs to do a little bit of a set and forget, this is a great opportunity to have your money going in automatically for you without having to sit there and worry about it every single week. Now, one of the cons when using SoFi Invest is if for any reason you do need to move money out, such as dividends or just money that is sitting there, it can take a little bit of time to actually pull out of the service. So if you are planning on having that money available, consider waiting about 3 to 5 business days before you have access out of SoFi Invest. Pro on SoFi Invest is that they have what they call DRIP, and this stands for Dividend Reinvestment Program, which effectively allows your dividends that you earn from stocks and ETFs to be reinvested back into the companies that paid them out. This really helps with compounding interest, so that way your money keeps working hard for you every single day. Now, this is something that you have to toggle on and it is not instant, so make sure that you have that set up if you are interested in having those dividends reinvested. Now, for some investors, one of the other big cons when it comes to using SoFi Invest is the fact that they only have 2 different order types. They have a market order and they have a limit order available for you, and that can deter some type of investors. Now, another great pro when it comes to using SoFi Invest, especially if you are a beginner investor like many others out there, they have an education center, and this actually helps you out in understanding not just the platform, but investing entirely. And this really gives a lot of people some really good ground to be able to understand understand what they're doing and how things are affected throughout their investing journey. Now, of course, these pros and cons are really just based off of my experience using the app. And, for a lot of beginner investors, this might be a great opportunity to start learning and growing with investing. So I think this is something that people can really get a hold of. If you're a more advanced user, there are probably some better apps out there for you. But overall, I would give this app a 3.8 out of 5 because I think it does the job really, really well to help other people get their foot in the door when it comes to investing. As I mentioned, I will have a link to them in the show notes down below. Help support out the channel, but it gets you started right away. Now, after going through and setting up, I want you to check out this video right over here to keep on learning and growing when it comes to utilizing SoFi Invest. My name is Dennis, and I will see you in that next video.